Going live. We did it. We did it.
I'm just gonna call you Dad the entire time.
Okay, no problem, son. Hi, everybody. How's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with a Mr. Zach Kehley. Guys, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I love you all. And Zach, you too. Everyone say hello to Dashy. Hello, Dashy.
Hi, Dashy.
That is so.
I've seen Dashy in the other videos.
Oh, you have watched some. Oh, you do care. I feel like SpongeBob when he takes off Patrick's clothes and like a completely non-homosexual, like no homo, and then he sees like the yellow underwear. He's like, "You do care." And then it's like,
much what yeah.
These were white when I bought them.
Dude, so what are you gonna eat this KFC while we do this?
Oh no, it's done. It's gone. Like there's crumbs. I can eat the crumbs.
I was really excited to like go through this endeavor with you of watching you eat KFC while we talked, because I wanted to see you have like that umami moment of just like how good it is, because KFC does slap.
Dude, it's got 11 herbs and spices, and it is. Did you see that one with Mario Lopez? He plays the Colonel. You did or did not?
Stop. He plays the Colonel in the commercial.
Yeah, it's like a 12-minute like mini movie. It's like it's a mini movie. I say that because so much is packed into that 11 minutes. He gets hired as the chef of this rich guy's place, and the woman there that like falls in love with him because like her man's like not satisfying her or so whatever it is.
This is
Mario Lopez. He's just jacked. He's got good skin.
Of course, yes.
And so she falls in love with him, and he tries to like take down his I guess he tries to like assassinate him, whatever, and then he somehow like takes the money and opens up KFC. Like that's how it happens. He opens up KFC. So yeah, Zach Kehley, the last time I had seen you, I think it was at a going away party for Bickham. I think it was our.
That's right.
Yep, and we had You did not have your guitar there, and you were not married at the time, right?
No, but Kate was there.
Yeah, I remember.
It was at Johnny's house. Every time I go to Johnny's, I don't have to bring a guitar because he has a museum in his basement. So
of course. But you have I'm trying to think. I remember telling her about a dream. She's a psychologist, right?
Physician's assistant.
Oh, okay. Disregard. I think I don't know why I was like opening up. I was like, this is my dream last night. What's it mean? I think she's like the closest to medical personnel that I knew at the time.
I mean, like you could do the dream analogy thing with her right now, and you probably just won't get an answer that you like. So you can still do it. No,
I mean, whatever answer is like professionally received, like that's fine. Like I don't care if it's what I don't like. I just want to know what I'm thinking. Just want to know what it all means. But for you, it seems to all be about the music, and you're doing guitarist at Poeta, and you're doing a podcast right now as well. Tell me about that.
So me and my buddy George is the drummer of my band Poeta, which is now the official band of the Real Randy Chavez podcast. I hope you know that.
Okay.
So that's official. So we're like we're kind of a genreless band. They did Warped Tour I believe it was 2 years in a row back in 16 and 17. But I got involved with them because you just got to be in the right circles. I mean, musicians know musicians, and fortunately, I got pretty lucky, and I met these guys, and I filled a vacancy for them, and now we're doing a new album. But I'm also, like you said, I'm doing the podcast too. That's called the Limelight Podcast, but that's essentially just a music centric thing about music industry. But me and George decided that it might be a good idea to do something like the Limelight, where it specifically talks about music in terms of trying to build a community around music specifically without trying to do the vanity of music of like, I don't know, what would be like a good example of it? I guess like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe the vision of it, but essentially it's trying to create a community with music, but for the sole purpose of like, we love music. We love local underground that don't get notoriety. And we're trying to highlight those people and just build a community with it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've seen that in other places, and let me know if this is kind of what you mean. Like when one time, there was this group of kids that made a coding club, like in their high school, and they made it for people that they wanted to teach other kids how to code, and they got really big. They're in like thousands of high schools now, like multiple in every state. And Elon Musk did an interview with them, and if you watch the interview, there's no real talk about like Tesla. There's no talk about like his billions of dollars. It's just nerds being nerds. It's like, oh yeah, this is really fun. I once coded this game. This is so I once did that too. Which did you use Java? Did you use Python? And is that kind of what it's like? It's like people, whether they've toured with a bunch of really other famous
Absolutely.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So me specifically, with it, I have like this. There's this huge YouTube community for anything, right? So there's a huge YouTube community specifically for guitar nerds like me. If anybody in the chat and anybody watching is a guitar player, they know exactly what I'm talking about. So we're talking about guys like Rick Beato, Tomo Fujita. Like these are the superstars of the guitar YouTube community. And obviously in the past like 5 years or so, and even I would say even like in the past decade, um, you could be a rock star on YouTube and really not ever play a gig. So it's trying to like combine a person like me who's a guitar nerd and a person like you who doesn't play an instrument but still loves music
yeah.
and trying to
That being
bridge
said,
that
I
gap.
did play violin and piano for a while, but
Oh yeah, I forgot you played piano. That's true.
yeah, I haven't played in years though. I remember like the last time I really played one like somewhat consistently was Semstrat. She had
Yeah.
like a violin, and I would like
Yep.
play it every now and then,
Oh my
and
god, I
like
haven't
that was
heard
it.
her name in so long.
Yeah, she's married now. She's not Semstrat anymore. I don't know what her name is now. It's
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, she
Um,
got married. That's right.
yeah, it's got a couple dogs. They're cute AF. And then piano too. Piano's really fun. But I can't read music on piano. So I do it in the most like I can't say the R word. I do it in the most ridiculous way, where I instead because I can't read music, I draw a piano like on like a sheet of paper, and when I draw it, I watch somebody else play like a how to play. Let's say like Vanessa Carlton's White House, like crashed on a floor when. And I said, okay, so here's where the first finger goes. Here's where the second finger goes, and I draw 1 and 2 and 3, and then I just so that's how I do it. And it surprisingly doesn't take that long. You would think like that must take hours. It takes like maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Um, but the I just like can't imagine Randy with the violin.
Oh yeah, now I see the chats.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. I like that you have that though because it combines everyone. Have you seen that dude? I don't know what he's called, but you definitely know him. He goes on like not Voodoo. What's the one where every now and then you like virtual chat with like random people, but every now and then you see like a dude's junk?
Is that like chat roulette?
Yeah, he goes
Back in
on
the
chat
day, yeah.
roulette and he's like playing a guitar, but it looks like a Hello Kitty guitar or something like really dumb and like he's a
Yeah.
noob. He's playing like Twinkle Twinkle, and then suddenly he's like, "Do you have any requests?" And then he just jams out like, do you know who that is?
Yeah, I forget the name, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I
Yeah, he
think
just
I've
shreds
seen
it.
clips. Yeah, I've seen clips on TikTok and stuff. But like even like Hello Kitty guitars and stuff like that, like a shredder like Zach Wild, who's like a guitar god. They did
Yeah,
like this series on Loudwire where, and they still do it. They'll have like heavy metal musicians that have like that certain stereotype of like the beard, the long hair, they're yoked, they look huge and like terrifying, and
yeah.
they'll play like a Black Sabbath song on a Hello Kitty drum set or on a Hello Kitty guitar, like in its entirety, and it's ridiculous, but it's
Oh,
awesome. Like it's sick.
that's so cool.
Yeah,
Dude, I love that type of stuff.
it's
Um,
like right up your alley.
yeah, that seems really good. Seems really great. And for you, I just a guitar nerd. How many guitars do you have?
I'm not that bad. I got one. I got it. I don't think I've actually ever tallied it up. I've got like I'd say like 10 to 15, but it
Okay.
sounds like a lot worse than it actually is. It usually constitutes of a little bit of each because
Yeah.
you got to hit your
Couple of
prerequisites of certain tones that you want. Or like I have mostly I'm a bass player first, but I have 3 acoustics, probably like 5 electrics, and I have
mhm.
3 basses, 4 basses,
Okay.
4 basses. So,
Okay.
but yeah,
Okay. I would say, yeah, that's a nice 12, and then you have a couple of random. Like, do you have any ones that you don't play? Like, oh no, you don't play this. This was signed by this person after this show, and this is just in my collector's wall forever.
I'm never dumb enough to get a guitar signed because I'm gonna play it and I would just ruin it. So what's the point of doing it? But no, every one of them gets a little bit of love from me.
Yeah.
Um, the one that gets the most abuse, I'd say, is my I have like a Martin LXM, which is like a travel backpacking guitar,
Yeah.
and that essentially just rotates around my house because it's pretty much my anti-anxiety medication, really.
Yeah.
I sit around the house and I'll noodle. And if it's like fidgeting or biting your nails, it's the same thing. And I'll
Yeah.
just noodle around like subconsciously as I'm watching TV or just thinking about something. But it literally just gets passed to each room in this house. So
That's cool. The there are what was I don't know if you remember. I remember the first song I learned how to play on piano. It was Lugia's song from Pokemon. It's like da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da,
oh,
da-da-da.
that's a great one to learn.
Yeah, do you know like Brendan Z asked, can you play the Pokemon song Ka?
I can't, but I will try.
It's pretty that's pretty fun. It's fun on piano. I haven't learned it on violin. But do you have a TikTok? And do you have I know you have YouTube. I'll drop the link in YouTube actually.
Yeah, so I have tried to dip my toe in TikTok because George from the podcast, he Jesus. You hear my dog?
I thought that was the wind, but yeah.
No, it's my dog. But so he got pretty famous on TikTok. So he's like an influencer on TikTok now.
Yeah.
Not super huge. I think he's got like 75,000 followers, which in the scope of TikTok, that's pretty big, but you know, there's obviously a lot bigger people out there. But for what he did organically, just getting followers based off of curating playlists, that's pretty substantial. But for me, I've dipped my toe in it a couple times. What I've tried to do is essentially do like playthroughs of songs that I like. But the problem is that TikTok has done a like a hyperactive job of taking down anything that goes against their copyright laws, even if it's really, even if it's something under fair use, which technically if you're doing a playthrough of an instrument, it's like an educational piece. So it's under fair use, but they still take it down. I've appealed it. So I don't really do it as much. I've gotten away with it a couple times, but I haven't stayed consistent with it. I would like to, but I need to see that kind of stuff change.
Yeah. Oh man, that's rough. I know they were taking a lot of stuff down on YouTube for a while. They like, like where's the Fair Use Act? Because they were taking stuff down like, oh, we're playing a clip and then we're going over the clip, so it should fall on it. But some people just like I don't know why. Maybe some companies are like YouTube or TikTok afraid to get sued or whatever, so they're just throwing the
that's
camera
kind
down
of the problem him and I've kind of tried to bridge is because like a great concept for like a live podcast with music is to especially for YouTube would to be to find like underground bands and play them and live react to them because then you can get people to do submissions. But the problem is that even if for me, like my original band, we're signed by a label, I can't let you play my band's music on this podcast right now.
Oh,
because it's owned by the label. So my music is owned by somebody else and it would get taken down. Even if I give you the okay to do it verbally right now, it's going to get taken down.
Oh
but
man.
You can get around it if you have independent artists because they own their own music. But YouTube takes it down immediately sometimes. It's insane.
Man, that's rough.
Yeah.
What about like a cover? I guess a cover is probably because like typically what I do is I'll take like a really old song, or it doesn't matter, old, new, whatever, and I'll do like a Patreon member shout out on my videos. Then I'll be like, "Come a little bit closer, and then I'll do that. And none of mine have been demonetized from that. I've gotten a couple demonetized.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not from that though. It was like for like, one it was because it had something to do with Mr. Potato Head. I don't remember why, but it was. Oh no, because they were not calling Mr. Potato Head anymore because it was too like patriarchal or whatever.
Yeah.
So I forget what the video was, but it was about that. I was like, nope, demonetized, like, too sensitive information. I was like, are you kidding me?
It's amazing the stuff that they'll do like the copyright strikes or anything for. But like you were saying, when you're doing like your Patreon followers, if you sing a song, like technically, yes, you're doing it, but the algorithm can't catch it by itself.
Yeah.
But where was I going to go with that? There was like something specific. Oh, like with covers. So you can technically do it. Like there's like Boichi Avenue. Have you ever seen him on YouTube? Like the covers that he does. So he's probably like the forefather of like acoustic covers on like YouTube. He's been doing it for like 15 years and like that's his job now. He is a full-time working musician that just does covers because he's so good at it. And it's just acoustic. But I'm pretty sure you have to demonetize the video before it even goes up. Because the second that you try to do it, you get a strike.
Yeah.
So
Damn, that's rough.
yeah, it
Uh,
sucks.
so what do you think about, because I know you said like the one you have for I don't know if it was your band or if it was yeah, because on the Limelight podcast
Mhm.
that the IP I guess is owned by the label and not by you.
For the
Would you
band, it
of the
is.
band, would you
Mhm.
ever go and say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go on my own and make my music in NFTs and then be like, all right, so now it's virtually owned on the blockchain and this is the music. Would you ever do that?
I mean, I feel like that's something that's going to probably have to happen, or at least the conversation's probably already been had about that.
Uh,
Like, I kind of smile as like a joke, but like I would think that you're a liar if you told me 5 years ago that NFTs would even be in the conversation right now of how prevalent they are and
I
how
didn't know what
valuable
an
they are.
NFT was up until like last year, to be honest. Like when NBA Top Shot came out, I was like, what
Yeah,
the fudge is an NFT?
you're kind of
Uh,
the reason I know what NFTs are. So
yeah. So I thought that'd be cool. Like, so you haven't done an NFT yet of your music. You haven't made one into an NFT.
no, but maybe we can be the first.
Do it. Do
Hey, the
it.
music's good, man. If you ever get a chance, like for all the everybody that's listening, we're called Poeta, and that's spelled Poeta. So like poet, but feminine. If you were speaking Spanish.
Yeah. In like a few minutes, like I don't know why it doesn't. My live doesn't show up on the phone
Yeah,
for a little while, but as soon as it does, I'll be able to go and say, oh, actually, here it is. I'll be able to go and post a link in here
sweet.
of his. I think the link that I posted is it was a cover of Billie Eilish that you guys did. I forget which
The
one.
lampshade sessions that we just did. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty good. Shows you in
it,
there playing guitar. It's like, oh,
yeah.
nice.
It was a great experience because they do. Um, it's essentially like tiny desk concerts, but in this guy's basement in New Jersey,
Hmm.
and it's like a recording studio. We all plug in, and we play a couple songs, and he posts it to his YouTube, and it's really high quality video. But we wanted to do a Billie Eilish song because we're like more of a progressive hard rock band. Um,
Okay.
and it like we're I would say that our comps are more like Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah,
That's the inspiration for the vocalist. He kind of takes a lot of his chops from learning that kind of music back when he was a kid, even to this day. But I mean, we cover one of their songs in our set, so but we definitely have that kind of sound. So we wanted to have a stripped down version of a song that was one popular, obviously, so people would want to watch it,
yeah,
and we wanted to do something that was more prevalent that could be done in our own specific way. And if
yeah,
you ever listened to Your Power before, it's a very mundane. It's a two-layer song. It's like some overdub bass and acoustic guitar and Billy's voice. So we kind of made it our own little version. It did pretty well for a small channel. It's got a couple hundred views, but I was really proud of that. I thought it sounded amazing.
yeah. I was listening to it just before we started. I was like, oh, this is so good. I also like stuff like that when something is supposed to be one way and people know it as that, but then someone just does something completely different with it, and it's like, I didn't know I needed this in my life. Like when Jimi Hendrix comes out and plays the national anthem on his
Yeah.
guitar, playing with his teeth, just shredding it up. Like, oh, this is amazing. Or when
Yeah.
that guy from Disturbed,
Oh,
and the Sound of Silence.
yeah.
I was like, oh,
They do one cover on every album. That was the one that hit the most.
yeah, that was insane. That was like, oh my god, that was like beautiful.
Oh,
That was like the Bad Zombies with the Bad Wolves with Zombie from
oh
Cranberries.
yeah, they did that. I forgot it. That was a good cover too. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like I love stuff like that. So it's supposed to sound one way and then just absolutely shred
So
it and do it another
what
one.
would be your favorite cover then? Like, what's your favorite cover of anything?
Oh,
Think long, hard, and deep about this. I want the
this
most
this is a good
genuine
one.
answer.
I'm not. Oh, give me a sec. My favorite. Well, those two definitely come to mind. Would it be cliche to say like, Whitney Houston's "I'll Always Love You" because that's a cover of Dolly Parton who did the
Oh,
original.
that's right. No, that's not cliche at all.
It's not because I feel like a lot of people would say like that's a really good song
Yeah.
or that there's so I don't know if you ever saw it. There's I think it's called like the worst cover of the Final Countdown where
Oh, I think is it like those old guys?
they're like kids and they're like at this like some festival and maybe there's like 100 people like in the whole festival but there's like
Oh
six
no.
people watching them play I was like, the final countdown.
Oh my god.
So that was really fun. I
Like
like really bad stuff sometimes. Like I just saw like Velocipaster. It's
I watched that on Amazon Prime like two
yeah, that's
years
where I
ago.
watched it.
Yeah. Yep.
It's horrible, but it's so good.
It got like
Um,
4 out of 5 stars on there. That's why I was like, I have to at least check it out for a few minutes.
it was great. But yeah, favorite cover. Oh man, I don't know. What about yours? Maybe yours will help me trigger something.
Dude, so last night I went to go you know who City and Color is by chance?
I don't believe so.
There's a band that used to be called Lexus on Fire.
Okay,
So
I don't know.
they used to be popular like 10 years ago, but the guitar player from that band did an offshoot and he does strictly acoustic stuff. And I saw him last night at the Keswick in Philly.
Hmm.
And I got into him because he did Alice in Chains covers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like and it was just incredible because it's like different. But he
Hmm.
does my favorite cover right now is a cover by City and Color of like this B-side Alice in Chains song called Rain When I Die.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's like the most dissonant, haunting acoustic song. Because when you hear the actual song, it sounds nothing like the way he does it, which makes it even better. I love the originality of it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's just so good.
I'm trying. I guess now, if maybe not, maybe I guess cover band. There's this. My friend Lou is in. He's been on the podcast before too. He's
Yeah.
in a couple of different bands. One of them's called the Warped Tour Tribute Band, and
Uh
he goes and he plays. Him and his band, they play all like the hits from like Warped Tour. They play like
yep.
Yellow Card.
Yep.
They'll play like Sleeping with Sirens, or they'll play just pretty much like Simple Plan, Sum 41, Green Day.
That's our classic rock now.
It is not classic rock now.
It is. That's what it is.
Well, what is class? 30 years prior, right? 30 is that classic?
I didn't know there was like an actual numerical like
I'm just
cutoff for it.
guessing. I'm
But
just
like
guessing
think
what.
about it. That's what it is now. Like it's like that's the stuff that gets people to come out to bars.
Yeah.
Is cover bands like a Vans Warped Tour band, which is like a genius idea. He's insanely smart to do that.
Oh, he is very smart. He's yeah. So he does that, and he has a Blink 182 tribute band. He also has this band called Bro Country, where where they just sing. But yeah, there's not. I guess there wasn't much like that on Long Island. And he's like, you know what? He likes a few country songs. Like he learned how to play a couple of things, and he's like, yeah, there's a market for there. There wasn't really too much of that on Long Island. Because a lot of it's like the emo scene and like the Warped Tour tribute band, pop rock
Yep.
stuff, pop punk stuff. Um, but yeah, there's trying to think of other cover. No, no, trying to think of other ones, other cover songs. It's escaping me. It escaped me.
No,
But
it's
yeah,
all
you'd
good.
really like it. You should come out. Like the last,
For sure.
yeah, come out to Long Island one day because you're still in New Jersey, right?
Yeah, I'm down like by Philly.
Oh, okay, cool. I just went to Atlantic City this weekend with the girlfriend, and I forgot that Sunday the Giants were playing, and I tried to get back to New York on like Sunday. It took me like 6 hours. It
Oh,
was
I
like,
saw your status. You were like,
oh
I'm
god,
never
it was the
driving
worst
to
thing
Jersey
ever.
again.
It was horrible.
Well, yeah, I mean, I went there for I saw Guns N' Roses there like 5 years ago for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Nice.
But I mean, it was a dope concert. But I remembered going up to MetLife and the traffic there, and the parking was $50.
Oh,
Like
that's
what?
robbery.
Like I understand you're gonna pay a little bit, but $50, dude, like that's insane. But yeah, the traffic up there was terrible, awful.
Yeah, it was not good. It was oh my god, $50. I think the most I ever paid for parking was like 25. And then I remember it was me and a couple of friends went to an Islanders game, and after that we just parked at like the McDonald's like across the street from the Coliseum. This is back when they were at the Coliseum,
Yeah,
before they were in Brooklyn. And we would just hop across the turnpike and just go that way. But
yeah.
you ever go to the Electric Factory in Philly?
That is the one venue I haven't been to yet in Philadelphia. Yeah, I was just
Oh,
talking
dude.
about last night.
Yeah, it's so good. I've been there a couple times. I think the last one I saw there was like I think it was Sleeping with Sirens, Falling in Reverse, Black Veil Brides, and like one other band. It was a very emo night. It was
Yeah,
it was so good. Actually,
so
he's got a shirt. Friend Lou's got a shirt that says "Make Long Island Emo Again." I wear
oh
it every
my,
once in a while.
that's so.
It's,
We were
yeah, he's
playing.
marketing genius.
I played a gig up in New Brunswick,
Mhm.
like at Rutgers on, was that last Friday? And there was a kid walking around, and he was like, he just came in off the street, and he was wearing a shirt, a hat, like a MAGA hat, and it said "Make America Emo Again," and I thought it was so freaking funny, dude. It was perfect.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, Giferno brings up a good one. Marilyn Manson's "Sweet Dreams" made
Oh,
up.
dude.
That one's really
Yeah,
good too.
that is a good one. I do love that. I love Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, it's great. He's
What's what's the other one that he did? It's an is an original one. It's a Beautiful People, and Beautiful People is an original. What's the other song that he does? Mm, it's like something Jesus. What is it?
Jesus of Suburbia. Oh, what's it? Oh, or Jesus of what?
Jesus of Suburbia.
I don't
That's
know.
a good
He
song
said
too by
something
Green Day.
Jesus. I like it's the only song I can think of with Jesus. There's this one country dude. I forget his name. And he's not even big. He just it was like a one-hit wonder. It was on YouTube. He just called it like "If I Could Have a Beer with Jesus." And I was like, oh, that's a good song.
Yeah,
It's really not popular at all. It's not even a million views. But I was like,
yeah, that's a good
oh,
name.
yeah, I hate that. We're getting to that age now. We just forget stuff. It's like, it'll come to me later. It never comes to us. It never.
Dude, we're too old, but you're retired now, man. You have no excuse. You should be diving into all the covers. You should be
I,
just like getting back into playing piano.
I should. I have a piano right back. I remember I got it. I have it right back there. But I also the way I did it, the way I like got a lot of money is like I just live in like the small like and this small one-bedroom apartment is an upgrade from where I was
Yeah, you were
living
like
right
in a
next.
boiler room,
I
right?
was I was right
Yeah.
in the right in the boiler room. So it's an upgrade from that. And then in January I'm gonna go to Florida, gonna get a nice 3-bedroom with the girlfriend and her 3 cats, her dog, and her rat. And honestly, me and her would be fine with the 2-bedroom, but she's got a bunch of animals.
Yeah,
They're
they
dating a
need their own
veterinarian.
bedroom, man. Come on.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
What'd you get?
We
You
had to
gotta.
do that for our dog. We had to give her own bedroom.
Yeah. We gotta do that. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. And so, what is your next big project? Musical or non-musical? What's your thing?
Uh, Definitely has to do with music. Doing an album right now. Should be done. I should be finished hopefully on Wednesday. I had a COVID scare last week, so it set me back a little bit. Didn't have it,
Yeah.
thank God. But yeah, we're doing a new album. Its name is pending. We're hoping to have it out probably around the new year, floating around that time frame. Um, then after that, don't really know. We have a gig coming up at House of Independence on December 11th, which is awesome. That venue's incredible with two great bands called The Ones You Forgot. And with Sales Ahead, two female fronted bands, and they sound in friggin' incredible. So this is The Ones You Forgot About. It's their first show back live since the pandemic happened. So this is going to be a pretty big event for them.
Nice.
It's a dope venue. So if anybody's in the area of Asbury Park, feel free to come out on Saturday, December 11th, get your tickets because it's going to be a
Yeah,
fun night. And
you
you
invited me
can't
to
go.
that.
I was pissed.
I know it's the same weekend as my dude's bachelor party. I was like, no.
The bachelor
I was like,
party's
you
there.
just said that. I was like, oh wait a minute. And I was like, oh wait, I forgot. My dude's bachelor.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that is not fun. Well, I mean, it's good for that. I mean, I guess there's a chance that like they break up or one of them like dies.
Oh no, please
No,
no.
I'm joking. No, they're young and they're happy, so it's probably not. But yeah, Personal Jesus, was that the one you were thinking of?
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking
Oh,
of.
Ginferno, my man.
Yeah,
I had a
he's
bunch of
coming in
people.
clutch.
Yeah, dude, I have a bunch of people here that most of the people that watch me are like 24 to 44,
Yeah.
but sometimes you get that like 40, 50 crowd and they just like know a
Do
lot
you
of like classic
do you have
rock.
like a personal favorite subscriber that engages
Oh,
a lot?
um,
Yeah, actually, don't do that because that could be really controversial.
yeah.
Give me like the group who are like the most important ones of the bunch.
I would say so. There's this one guy. He's not like a troll, but he's a little. All right. So there's this one dude who's not subscribed to me. He's like he bought Omi, that coin that I always go on about, at like basically at a penny.
Yeah,
We're guessing, and then because like that was when Bitcoin was at 64, 65,000. So when Bitcoin dipped to like 30K, Omi went down to like 1/10 of a penny. So he's like screaming like, and this is the first time he got like financially punched in the face, losing 90% of his investment. He's like, this is a, this is a scam, this is whatever. And so he would go on every YouTuber's page and be like, oh, you're a scammer, you're promoting a scam. I'm like, guys, this isn't a scam. Like Marvel and DC would not give this company their IP if he would, if it was. But anyway, as a troll, this one person makes an account called David Rosen's mom, and he just starts like, Sonny, well, what did I tell you? You can't be doing this. And so he comments a lot. David Rosen's mom. So that's really fun. And he's just a normal subscriber now. So that's probably like the funniest one. But there's a bunch of people. This guy Grandmaster Mawile, he'll just troll. Like I forget what I was doing, and I was just talking like he just blasts me with unexpected heat out of nowhere. Like, Randy, that you? Where'd your hairline go? Who took Randy's hairline? I was like, you motherfucker. It's so funny. I have to put some like I love people who roast me. Like this one guy was just a hater. He wasn't even a subscriber. It's just like, I just watched one of your old videos. You got fat, bro. And I was like, God damn.
I think I saw you post a status about that.
I did. Yeah, I did.
You're like, I don't know how to feel about this.
So that's really fun. But yeah, the group. I'm trying to think of a fun group. Like most of these people are here just through finance. Like it's for because they were in Earth 2 or they're only Tesla. People that have followed me for like since I started. They're like, oh, this guy made me money, so they're here for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're all pretty fun, but they're all just pretty much part of the same group. It's just some are nice and encouraging, like, you got this, Randy. Good morning, Randy. How's it going, Randy? And then other people just like they just roast me. so
yeah,
so it's good.
That's like the worst part. I mean, like you obviously know now, obviously with your base that you have on YouTube and just like in the community for Earth 2 and your non-financial advice that you give.
Yeah.
But man, like it's crazy like what people control you for. I don't understand the negativity because I'm a pretty like I could be negative, but I just don't get why some people feel the urge to just be so hateful for no reason. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, I feel like it's people just didn't they either they're like they haven't gotten hugged in a while and you just need that personal connection, just give them a hug. Or every time I do credit a lot of my financial success to LSD, and I was just about to be like, it's helped me make a lot of decisions, and I feel like if everyone took that, there would probably be world peace for at least a little bit.
You know,
And
everybody that takes it says the same thing. I've never tried it, so.
oh, you're a musician and you haven't done that?
I know.
Zach,
I'm a good
how do
little
you
boy.
expect to write a hit like Break On Through to the Other Side without taking some LSD?
I'm trying to wait for the right moment. That's why.
I feel you. I'd say like, I don't know. Maybe before you have kids. Do you guys want kids? Is that something that on the table? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely before you have kids. And then name your daughter Lucy. It's like, hey, you know what?
Name my daughter Lucy. Oh my god.
So Slava is 44, likes Alice in Chains, and there's a bunch of people. Like there's this guy Raythax. He made a couple of NFTs. He wants to make like a punk world, like I think it's called like Mega. He's got a mega city in Earth 2. It's called like 70s land or 80s land. It's just like he's just like a bro. It's like cool. You can tell he's like a punk rocker from like back in the day. He just chills. So he's pretty fun. There's a lot of people, but yeah, if you go and you subscribers sometimes as you guys get bigger, you'll see it. If like one of you changes your hairstyle. They're like, hey, what's with the new hair? Like, I shaved my beard once, and I was like, unsubscribe. What is this? And I was like,
oh my god,
I know, because I was meeting my girlfriend's family. It was last year. I was meeting my girlfriend's family, and I was like, all right, make myself a little presentable. You know, did a shave, and everyone's like, like it's like I slapped their ancestors or something. It was crazy.
Oh my god.
But do you have any like groupies that like every show you go to, there's some people always there? Like, it's that guy.
Oh, we got a pretty decent fan base. I'm like learning them as we go because we haven't been able to play shows in a long time.
Yeah.
So our first show back was last week with me in it, and I've been a part of it for quite a while now. But I've been in the world of doing cover music for quite a long time. I never like paid my dues in the original music world of like being in high school and then like hitting the road in a van with like your buddies. I completely just missed the boat on that. I never
Yeah.
found guys around at that time that were interested in doing. I wish I could have, but I didn't have the community yet. Fortunately, I have it now. I stepped into like a great situation. But yeah, we got some people that show up to pretty much everything we do with the poetic gear. It's really interesting when you see people coming like off the street that you've never met before, and you could just see a swell of people in front of you like an ocean, all just grooving to your music as you're playing. That's the coolest feeling in the world. Because the place that we played at last Friday was super cool. It's a place called Chamber 43 in New Brunswick, and
Yeah.
it's essentially like the most eclectic coffee shop you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
It's like if you went into your uncle's basement in a good way and you just like saw all of his like cool stuff from over the years from his travels. He's got a vinyl record collection. Everything's like 70s aesthetic, but like it's comfortable. And in this place, huge floor plan. In the back, there's like an elevated loft, and they
Yeah.
have a lot of punk bands that come through. And for us specifically, we did a show with one of our good friends and with Sales Ahead and a band from Virginia called Pulses, and we're literally elevated above the crowd, a little bit higher than it would be on a normal stage. And you're just looking down at these people, and all of a sudden, as we played, it just filled, and everybody's just swaying like an ocean. And I was like, damn, man, I missed how that felt. But it's super cool to see that, especially with an original group that's very good. The stuff's a little technical, so it's a little bit more difficult to play for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but
Probably a fun
it's like,
challenge though.
oh my god, it's the best challenge and best feeling in the world when you're doing something like that, especially when the music's great. It makes it so much different, because I understand that there's a lot of trepidation for people to listen to a band they've never heard of. I totally get it. I have that problem too. But when you do listen to something that is clearly really good of high quality, oh dude, it's just like Pandora's box, man. It's amazing.
I haven't had that yet, and I might never. I might get that in the future at some point if I ever get invited to like a VidCon. I'm going to this thing called Designer Con. There's gonna be a bunch of people meeting up with me, but I can only imagine how that must feel to have like a bunch of people just like rocking out to what you're doing.
Yeah.
It was reminding me of a pic that was on Reddit, like an old school cool. Well, I forget even where it was, but it was an Elton John pick where he is just rocking out and just the
Yeah.
whole stadium just going heckin' nuts. And he's just having a good time, just chilling. Um,
Yeah, that's a whole different level. I can't imagine what that must feel like. Like, think about how like the Rolling Stones feel. They've been doing it since the '60s, and they're still selling out every stadium in the world.
yeah, it's like God tier level. Like there's even people that are that let's say like even like make it like the bare minimum of making is probably hey, we've gone on tour, we're successful, we made a profit, people are paying to see us, and people are doing this. But then there's like a God tier level like that, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just I feel like it's probably the same as an actor who's maybe been in like a couple of movies and maybe a couple people might recognize them in their
Mm-hmm.
lifetime versus like the cast of Friends in the 90s. Wherever they go, everyone's like, ah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, that's like the weird thing with being a musician is I was actually listening to a podcast because like I said, I went to go see City in Color last night, and I was kind of inspired about just like his process and like the sound that he has. So I was trying to find something about how he writes, and he was talking to another musician and they're both like he's big obviously, but they're relatively like small time, right? Um, and the thing that he kept saying is like you got to define your expectation of like what you want, especially with a thing like music, because music is not, you don't do music for the money. This is not the way it is.
yeah,
um, and it's a very interesting question to ask, because some people, if you want to be famous, like that is one thing you could want, and that's totally fine. You just got to be upfront about it. Do you
yeah,
want to be John Mayer? Do you want to be the god, like the guitar god for like the millennial generation? Sure, if you want to do that, that's fine. But do you want to be the guy that's like a road dog that makes his money just playing gigs? Which there's a whole faction of bands that you might not know about, but they've been touring the road for 30 years, 20 years, 10 years. And they're successful. They make like a regular person's salary, but their job is to go on stage every night and play
Yeah.
gigs. So it's just like a weird thing with music, especially with how the music industry has changed so much, especially with the pandemic. I don't know if you've really considered this because like obviously not really being a musician or being in that circle, a lot of people really haven't considered the importance of things like TikTok from a music perspective because the music industry is changing, and I can prove it to you because we have a couple friends of ours from a band called Magnolia Park,
Mhm.
and they just played emo night in LA over the weekend and opened for MGK and Avril Lavigne. A year ago, nobody knew who the hell they were. The reason that people even found out about them is because on TikTok they made a great video, clipped one of their songs in the video, and it blew up on
Yeah.
TikTok. And they're such a great example of what music is going towards. Because think about how you find new music. Where do you find new music anywhere?
Uh, well, I mean, I guess on social media, like if it's yeah, TikTok, it would be one of the things. Like,
And think
oh
about how
no,
perfect it's perfect because think about it this way. When you're on TikTok, you make a decision if you're going to watch a TikTok within the first half second you see it, right?
yeah,
If you hear something catchy, hooky, if you see something that's obviously of good quality, you're going to sit there and at least consider it for a couple more seconds. There's a couple of seconds when you're in music are hugely important, but it could be like your detriment because it could be the last time anybody listens to you. But with music, going back to like what George does on his TikTok, what he got huge with was he would suggest music, put it in a playlist, but preview the playlist in his TikTok for 30 to 60 seconds with the music video for about 5 to 10 seconds of like 5 different bands. And that's the way people discover new music. And it's like genius. It's like, think about it this way. It's like hit clips if it was on like an iPhone app. It's just little clips of music and you can decide
yeah.
if you want to go investigate it later. So if you see any more like how would you say is the best way for anybody to hear or get into a new band? How does a new band become the next Rolling Stones? How do you think that would happen?
I mean, how I think it would have would probably just be like that. For me, how I would think is that it's probably this band that's good, and they have really good, like the lyrics are strong, and the music theory is good, and maybe one person they took music theory, and they can basically see what they hear,
Yeah.
and they have maybe a one or two albums out beforehand. They have a bunch of music, but then just one song just becomes really popular. It's really catchy. People go back to listen to their old stuff. Like I didn't listen to Green Day when they came out with Kerplunk or A Thousand Sloppy Hours. I listened to them when I first had the CD International Super Hits, and I see a bunch of all their old stuff, and then I go back. So I would think that's how it would be. It would be like one song gets blown up. You're like they listen to their old stuff, and then they get big. Am I right? Am I wrong? Where am I wrong?
That's more close to what the usual answer would be when I bring this up. Usually what people would say is like because the old model was you go on the road and you play as many gigs as possible and get your music heard,
Yeah,
which that's not the case anymore because nobody played for 18 months.
yeah,
So
that's true.
how are people finding new music?
That's a good point. Yeah, social
bands
media.
bands came and went in that time frame, and it's because of things like TikTok. So from what we've been talking about, um, we know a couple people in the industry that have kind of given us a peek behind the curtain of TikTok's going to do a music distribution deal at some point,
Yeah,
and
a bunch of their artists are getting NFTs with that also. So yeah,
yeah,
they're TikTok's doing
because
great.
they've realized their position of this is how people are going to be able to discover new music, so they can team up with like a Spotify. And the great thing about Spotify is the next great band that's going to be the next Rolling Stones, they're going to get picked up on a tour because you can see how many monthly listeners they have.
Yeah,
Like that'll immediately tell you whether or not the band sucks or not, most likely, whether that's fair
yeah,
or not. But that's how like it's a number. It gives you an impression of how good it is based off the amount of people that are listening. So like that's where it's going. And it's super important for like TikTok and stuff for musicians, because I laughed it off in the beginning. I was like, this is a joke. Like, why would I do this?
Yeah.
But I got to take it more important. I know I have to, but it's crazy.
I like how you're recognizing it, and I know you said before you kind of dabbled in TikTok a little bit, but I guess now you're probably going to be a little more.
Yeah, I'm
Open up.
trying. Yeah, I've really gotten into the teaching aspect of it, because I'm going back to school now to be a history teacher. And that's kind of like when I was talking about setting expectations in music.
Mhm.
It's my expectation is this. I want to be the worst case scenario in how my music career pans out. I want to teach high school students for 2/3 of the year. And then the summertime, I want to play cover gigs down the shore. And that's all I want to do for the rest of my life. That's the
That sounds great.
that's the bottom floor of what I want to do. And I think that's pretty doable.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, what is the Squid Cats? That's kind of like what I would love to do that, like, at a minimum. Like, that's a great gig.
Yeah.
$400 a night playing bass in a Neil Diamond tribute band.
It's great.
Dude, that's amazing though. Like, there's nothing like seeing a crowd having a good time to whatever you're pumping out with your fingers. Like, it's the
Yeah.
coolest thing, and it's the greatest experience, man. It's like otherworldly.
Yeah, I love that type of stuff. And I remember my uncle saying that I guess what your advice to young musicians, I guess, might be don't give up, but let me know. Because I remember my uncle saying that when he first, I forget who they opened up for. Um, they booed off Aerosmith the first time that they were opening for someone. I forget who they were, and it was before like Dream On came out. It was like when he remembers like, yeah, no, they sucked. We booed them off the stage. Like, really? It's like, yeah, they're
Yeah.
horrible. So I guess Aerosmith sucked at first, but I guess they saw something in them. Have you ever seen other bands like that? Be like that they just bomb for like 45 minutes, and then you see them like 2 years later, like, really? Them? They suck. And then they just blow up. They have a glow up.
Oh, not really as much as you'd think. Um, because usually, like, especially when it's live. So I think it's more like this. If it's live, you're gonna tell if somebody has it or not. You're gonna tell if a band's tight or not. You're gonna be able to tell if it sounds good or not. Whether or not the mix is good, you can usually figure out whether or not it's the deficiencies of the players or it's the deficiencies of the technology, which is totally like the case sometimes. But I think it's more so seeing how bands do the transition to doing stuff like YouTube and putting their music on YouTube, because a lot of people will shortchange it, do it really quick, not invest the money or the time or the resources. And something that might be a great song might, you know, be a flop because the quality's not good. So
Yeah.
I think that's where you would see it more so. What a great face I froze on. That's terrible. Jesus. I look like I just got like tickled in the belly or something. It was weird.
Pillsbury Doughboy.
Oh God.
Oh,
But yeah, I think that's more so where you'd see, like, oh my God, like they got famous, like how, or not even famous, like even became remotely successful.
the way you describe how I guess music's going through it, the way how you describe people or bands are being recognized now is similar to, I guess, how wrestlers get famous now. Where I saw a documentary, and this was a few years ago also, where wrestling back in the day, it would take them like 6 months to get somebody from like unknown to like really well known. And now
Yeah.
they could do it in like 1 week, just because you have millions of people watching. But yeah, so now it seems like they can do it really quickly. Um, are you the discoverer of any bands that had like maybe like like 100 views, or they weren't, and it's like, oh, these people slap. Like, do you have the ability to
Yeah.
sign other people on?
With the podcast and me and George, we pride ourselves on the fact that we found a couple bands that were not nothing, but they were unknown, and then they got signed to pretty major labels
Yeah.
pretty soon thereafter. Not to say it was because of us, but we knew early on that, like, they were talented enough that they had a couple bands, like the band we just talked about, Magnolia Park's one of them. They're great if anybody wants to check them out. Very pop punkish. Very easy to listen to. Anybody would like them.
Yeah.
Another band is called like Seafloor Cinema. And to a different degree, like a bigger band that's not really well known everywhere. Like they're getting about 650,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. That's amazing. But
That's awesome.
George put them in a TikTok of suggesting them as a band, and their monthly listeners, the label reached out to him and said, because of you, they had a jump in their monthly listeners. We'd love to talk to you about either getting in touch or like that's how it all started.
Yeah.
And that a band that I'm kind of describing is a band called Dayseeker. And they're more like metalcore, but more melodic. I highly suggest. I actually just saw that we met up with the lead singer Rory when they played Starland Ballroom last week. So we said hello in a COVID safe environment as best we could when he came through. But that was because of TikTok, man. That was because of us kind of promoting how good their music was and people being like, "Oh my god, I've never heard of this band before, but I love all the other bands you suggested." It's like crazy.
That's great. I guess a couple of people I was like, you got to figure out the YouTube algorithm and abuse it.
And
I
it's
don't know
always
what
changing.
Oh yeah, what? Oh, so what was the most recent algorithm for you for YouTubers or for at least for me? It's comments, likes, and consistent posting. I don't know
Yeah.
how it is for music.
So I talked to if anybody's ever tried to learn guitar before, you've probably used a guy named Real Andy Guitar. I had him on the podcast, and he was a really great person to talk to. But he was like a pioneer of it. He did YouTube lessons for beginners back like in 2009, and he still has the original videos up on his channel. He's got over 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube now. I think it's actually
Nice.
I think he's at 2 million now. But he talked to me at length about it because I asked the question of I saw a bunch of YouTubers talking about how there was importance on the thumbnail and the title specifically on how you did it. Like they wanted a certain way that you phrased the video of
Okay.
they wanted it to be lists like top 10 best guitar riffs of all time or something like that. Top 10 beginner songs that you should know on guitar. And he talked to me about it. He's like, dude, I lost count of how many times the algorithm works or not. I just
Oh.
put whatever works, and if it works, it works. So
Yeah. I was like that when I first started. I was like, okay, so I should have a surprise face, like and then for my thumbnails. Now it's just like I'll post like memes as my thumbnail, or I'll just post like a picture of whatever I'm talking about. Like with you,
well,
like this whole thing, it's just a picture of your face and then your pug's face also. I had to go back to 2018 for a good picture of you because all of the pics that you had were with your wife, and I was like, well, I don't like she's not in it. I don't want to have her in there. So
I know
um,
I wish I had more pictures of me, but I just never take the advantage of taking like promo shots or anything like that. But that's actually Coco. That's Johnny and Ashley's old dog.
oh really?
Yeah, that passed away like a year or so. No, 2 years ago now.
Poor puppy.
I
The pugs
know.
are so cute when they're young, man. They're just so derpy. They got derpy face.
They are the derpiest breed by far.
They
It's a
get
derpy existence for pugs.
they it is like they can't breathe and they just
Yeah.
heart issues and they just
Dude, like the best part about like what you've done, because obviously like I saw it from the infancy of when you started doing it. It's kind of like a gag. It's like you're living proof that if it's good and you know what you're talking about, you're not bullshitting people, it's gonna work. People are
yeah.
gonna come, you know?
Yeah, I like that. And I mean sometimes again I talked about what I knew, which at the time, which was just Pokemon and Tesla. And then when I got big with Earth 2, it was just like it was new. I was like, oh hey, here's my review. Like this is what you can do, this is what I'm doing right now. And then as updates came out, it's like we were all learning together, and that's the same thing I'm doing with the Comey, Veve, and Omi right now. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, it's a new company, and they have this license. Oh, they just announced this license. This is what I think, and a lot of it just learning together. But I'm taking what I knew in the high risk lending field and the collecting field because these NFTs that they mint are very very limited, so they're collectibles. Like, oh,
Mhm.
I've seen this before. Like I
Yeah.
feel like Marty McFly. Like, oh, I've seen this. I know this
Yeah.
one. So yeah, that's pretty fun. And I do recognize other talent when I see it as well. Like I know you mentioned that band that you said they were really good. Have you ever
Mhm.
seen like this kid? or anyone with just like really raw talent, like, oh my God, you got to do something with that. You ever seen that, or is it just like only on TV?
No, I see it on YouTube all the time. I'm always like, that's like all I do is I'm on YouTube watching guitar players and musicians, and you see it all the time. One of my favorite people. Oh my God, I was just and so happy you brought this up because
Okay.
it was like we were talking about cover music earlier. There's this guy. There's this guy. His name is Joshua Lee Turner on YouTube, and years ago he did a video of him playing fingerstyle of Eleanor Rigby and singing the parts. And please, 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 if you're listening to this, type in Josh Turner, Eleanor Rigby, and listen to it on YouTube right now to see how difficult the parts that he's doing on guitar while he's singing beautifully. Watch that video.
Yeah,
I came
I just looked
across,
it up.
yeah,
Bunch of like 3 million views.
yes, that video. Oh my God, I was hooked on him because of that. So I started watching him probably like at the beginning of his YouTube channel, but I came across that video and I was like blown away. And he's got like 800,000 subscribers now. But he's a musical genius. You can tell just by the way he plays. But there's another guy named Chase Eagleson, and he does covers himself. It definitely a little bit of a different style, but the other day they came together and did a video together of a America song called Ventura Highway, and it was the best thing I've ever heard in my entire life. It was so good. So, but yeah, like you can see it so much more often now, and it actually kind of like hurts my confidence sometimes because I am not a virtuoso by any stretch of the imagination. And I look at some of these people and I'm like, Jesus, they're not successful in the music industry, and here I am playing with like this great band, and they could just mop the floor with me with anything they touch. You know, it's super interesting how much talent there is out there that doesn't get the recognition it deserves.
Yeah.
It's
Now, if you
so
see, obviously you were talking about, I think he looks like a grown man. Like he looks, is he, or was he like 16 when he made the video, or like 14 or whatever?
uh,
Josh Turner guitar.
I don't really know how old he must have been. I think he's like our age.
Oh, okay. All right. So,
No.
because I mean, what would be your advice to someone that like, or parents of somebody that is like 8 years old, and you could tell they're like really like any instrument they pick up really quickly, so that they don't go the route like Justin Bieber did, where obviously very, very talented, played a bunch of instruments, can sing, and then the system just abused them. Like, how do you make sure that doesn't happen?
Well, at that, I think that would be kind of a rough age to really give advice to because it's not really advice to the child. It would be the advice to the parents because I don't
Yeah, the
think
parents. But
8-year-old Justin Bieber consciously made the decision of like, have I weighed the balances of becoming famous at 12 years old?
yeah,
So, because everybody would take that offer, I would have done the same thing, and
yeah.
I would have been 20 times more reckless than he was with anything he's ever done.
Hmm.
But I think a better scenario would be like the 15 to 16-year-old kid in high school that is struggling in school, plays music all day, is a great musician, but is like, fuck the real world. I'm just going to go be a musician. And that's the way it's going to be, which
Yeah.
that's fine. Like people have done it. The guy I went to go see last night did that, and he hasn't had a real job in his entire life. But
Nice.
I think, and like, this is just my opinion. There's no right way to do this, but the way I would approach it if I had like a child at that age,
Hmm.
um, I would probably tell them I would say do it in the most fun way possible, and don't do it because you think you have to either earn an income or it's make it your livelihood. Because the second it's not fun anymore, it's like it's just different, you know. Like it's still
That's,
fun for me. Everything I've done is it's fun,
mhm.
um, and any accolades that we get along the way, it's part of it being fun. Like it's still partially a job, but it's got to be fun because at some point, if you're lucky enough, it probably won't be fun anymore.
Yeah.
So on that trajectory of however you want to go, whether it's to go to like a university of the arts and be uh, like a major on a specific instrument or style of music or vocally, or if you want to play acoustic songs that you wrote in your bedroom when you were in high school and you want to go play that for the rest of your life. As long as
That's a
it's
good.
fun, who cares, man? Like you don't need lessons if you're like you don't need something like that. You don't need to invest money in other people. Invest in yourself. Um, yeah, like it's because it's so simple yet it's not simple if it makes any sense.
It does. That is good advice. Or I guess it's like simple but not easy. I guess like simple
No,
advice,
dude, you got to
and
get
then
lucky.
yeah,
That's all it comes down to. You got to get lucky. Like
yeah,
that's all it is. And like now, like with streaming and stuff like that, you're not going to make money playing music. It's just the way it is right now. You're not going to make money. The way you make money is by doing lessons. So
mhm,
administering lessons like privately, which I started to do. Um, Either that, become like your own YouTube channel and put out original content,
yeah.
make money that way. Um, Otherwise, you have to tour as much as possible. You're not making as much money as you think.
When
Um,
you do tour, like I guess it depends on the tour, it depends how big you are, depends like typically how much can people see like after like I don't know how long tours last, like 6 months, a year. How much do you expect to come home with?
um, so I would say at like a mid-tier level, if
Mhm.
you're in the band, because you got touring musicians that accompany the band, and you got guys that are legitimately like a part of the band. A good example is like Green Day has three members, but they tour with an extra guitar player, so they got four guys.
Mhm.
Um, it's gonna change based off those kind of things, but just to make it easy, if you are touring with a band and you're at a mid-tier level, let's say you're playing a place like the Electric Factory is like the biggest kind of venue you're going to play,
Yeah.
you're probably going to, I would say it's fair to say you're going to come home with like 20 G's,
Huh.
but don't forget, you're only making your money when you're on the road.
Yeah.
So when you're not on the road, like the past 18 months, you're not making any money.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
it's tough. That's why there was like, that's why, I mean, I know a lot of people are um, very critical about some artists that are require like proof of vaccination. Like that's a slippery slope to go down. I totally understand.
Yeah.
Um, but you got to understand that these people, this is their livelihood, and that's what it's going to take for them to make that their money that they've lost in the past year and a half. It's fair, I think, that they ask something like that to know that they're not going to jeopardize the next couple months down the line. You
Yeah, that's
know,
true. Good
like
point.
those are the kind of factors that people have to think about, and it's just like it's just really interesting because you think living on the road must be uh, like all bells and whistles for the most part, which it can be, but the reality is for most people that do it, the 95% of people that do it for a living, it sucks. You
Yeah.
know?
Is it glorious for like a month, and then after that, it's like I want a real bed. I want like a
Yeah.
long hot shower. Yeah.
Yeah. But like some people love that. Like I love to travel. So it's
Yeah.
like the best excuse in the world to go travel. I get to play music and I get to travel. Oh my God. Like
Yeah.
two things
New city
perfectly
every night.
together.
That's kind of what I expected a little bit when I joined the military. I was like, oh yeah, they'll send me someplace cool, and they sent me to New Jersey. I was like, what is this BS? Like,
Yeah.
did you get to go anywhere cool when you were in after I got out?
Uh, I went to like so I went to Travis for TDY after
Hmm.
you left. So went to California, uh, deployed to Afghanistan. That was like right about the time that you were in and out, I think.
Was I in Kuwait, or was that
No, I
after I
think
got
you were
out?
actually out at that time. You got out in like
Uh,
16, right?
I got out end of 2016. Yeah.
Yeah, so I deployed in 17. So like right after you had
Okay,
gotten out.
gotcha. Yeah.
But that was like the coolest experience I had was going to Afghanistan for 6 months.
How was um how was that? Did you bring your guitar there?
Dude, so where is it? I got this little guy back here.
Yeah.
my Grateful Dead tapestry in the back. I got this. I'll show you the size difference. I got this Martin LXM I was talking about, so it's like a little baby guitar.
Yeah.
So I got my real boy right here, so you can
Oh.
see this. The size difference is a little bit.
Yeah, like difference between a violin and a viola.
Yeah, so it's an acoustic guitar, but I went out there with another guitar that's sitting back here, but it's bigger. And I saw a guy before it had arrived because I shipped it to myself instead of traveling through all those places with a giant guitar case with me. I just shipped it out to myself, and I saw a guy at a desk, and he had a Martin guitar with him, and it was in this case. And I'm like, dude, I didn't even know they like came that small. What is that? So he opened it up, let me play it. I was like, dude, this thing's sick. Where'd you get it at? He goes, oh, Martin just sent it out to me. I'm like, wait, what do you mean they just sent it out to you? He goes, I like wrote them that I was deployed and they sent me a free Martin LXM. And I'm like, dude, send me the email so I can do the same exact thing you did. And lo and behold, dude, they sent me out for free. That's like a $500 guitar. That's not cheap.
Oh my God.
They sent it out to me. They sent the CEO of the company, sent a letter, sent me strings. It was amazing. He's like, only thing I asked is that you take a picture of it in uniform and that goes like on like a social media post. I'm like, duh.
Okay. Done. Yeah.
Yeah, but I got that and I brought it with me and I traveled all over Afghanistan with it because I went to some pretty shitty places and I brought that with me and it got me through some challenging days of sitting around the smoke pit late at night when you're getting tired of deployment and you hate the people that you're with.
Yeah. How long did that take for you to? Because it was really good. My deployment we all got along for like the first 4 months, 5 months. It's like towards the end, it's like, but how long did it take you to start hating everyone?
I say that like facetiously. I didn't hate anybody. Obviously, like you butt heads, like you know how it is. Like you live with anybody. Like it happens with me and my wife sometimes. Like you just get tired of people.
Yeah.
But like for me, October's Mental Health Awareness Month, right? So we can talk about it. The hardest time for me, like, I don't know if this ever happened to you. Like, I know, like, you have a pretty like incredible story of like being a Peruvian immigrant, and you know, like you've overcame like amazing hardships. Like, you inspire me, man. So
I love you, man.
Yeah. Like this was like the most challenging time of my life because, like, I joined the military at what was it, 20, and because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Like I didn't want to go to school and pay for school if I didn't know what I was like going to school for, and joined the Air Force at 20, like I said, and then all of a sudden I'm on an airstrip in Afghanistan with like this bulletproof vest with this C-130 engine just blowing. Right behind me, we're running off the flight line because we're technically like outside the wire on the flight line because it's not protected at this little fob that we were at. It was a place called, I think it was old Camp Leatherneck, but it was called Shorehab, and it was like a shit show. And there was like this moment of my life because I literally had been in country for like 18 hours and I was already catching a flight to this little fob in the southern part of the country that I never heard of a day in my life. And I'm like, dude, like what, like, how did I get here is the thing I kept thinking to myself. Like, what did I do? Why did I think this was a good idea? Like, what am I doing? And I finally got to like, I remember the thing I kept telling myself the entire time to get my like anxiety to stop was, I was like, dude, just get to where you're going, find your bed where you're going to sleep and just get it over with. And then it's just go to work. Right. And then literally as soon as I got to the office, they told me I was flying down to this base. Like I had literally drugged my bag like a mile down the road to where I was staying at in our rooms on this like gravel road where the wheels of my fucking duffel bag were getting like stuck. I'm tired as shit. It's hot. I'm like, dude, this sucks. Put my shit in my room. Finally, everything's taken care of. Go back to the office to go meet everybody. They go, hey, you got to leave and you're going to go to this place for 2 months tomorrow. I'm like, you are shitting me, right? So I had some mental health struggles at that point.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I'm like, dude, I just want my guitar to come here. That's all I want. Like, that's like the only thing I want. Like, I was like on the verge of tears because
Yeah.
like that's what I do, man. Like when I'm like fidgety and I need something like and I need to get it out. It's not even I have to write anything. It's like a safety blanket for me,
Yeah.
right? But like I got there and I was there with three other guys from my team and I'd never met them before. Um, they were from bases all over. None of us had ever met each other before, right? And I was the one out of the four of us that just didn't vibe with them in the very beginning. They were
Yeah.
like the best of friends. They would go to the gym. They would do this. Me, I'm like the guy that sequesters myself, and I have
Yeah.
to have my me time. I have to like read a book. I have to play my instrument, even though it wasn't there. But they thought like I just didn't want to be a part of like their group, and I'm like, no, it's just like hard for me to integrate myself with people I've never met before. They just like became like best of buds. So that was really tough. Eventually, like became friends with those guys. Um, but after we got back, a lot of stuff happened, and like the tribal shit of like human nature of like headbutting. Obviously, a bunch of dudes living together. That shit started to happen pretty quickly after we got back. But dude, there's a video on YouTube actually. This is like not really part of the story, but it is. It's kind of funny.
Okay.
Um, I did like so I went to that place, like I said, I went to Shorehead for 2 months after I got to Bagram, like the day of. So I didn't meet the rest of my team at all. Like to give you an
Yeah.
idea how quick it was, I didn't get to in process at the base I was deploying at till 2 months into my deployment.
My God.
So I didn't meet any of the guys until like after we got back, and I met this one dude from Texas, and he was stationed in Hawaii. His name was Cody Fox, and uh, the most strapping gentleman I've ever seen in my life. Like totally comfortable enough with my sexuality to say this is a gorgeous man, right? Um, and he was a guitar player, and he had a beautiful voice, and he had a small YouTube channel where he was doing covers of like country songs.
Oh, nice.
And actually, this kind of relates to what we were talking about earlier too, because he was like doing these videos, getting thousands of views because he was a super talented musician, but he would literally take his phone, picture of himself, no quality at all, and it would still do really well
Yeah.
because he sounded so good. And he's like, "Yeah, man, do you want to do like a cover of a song with me?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. Why not?" So we did a video of us in uniform, which is kind of tacky. I hate that, but we were deployed, whatever. And
Yeah.
we're doing it in the office. And he goes, "The trick on YouTube, this is back in 17. He goes, the trick on YouTube to have a video go a little viral, you got to catch a song before it's really big. So when it's really big, you're the
People
first
say,
cover song when people go to see it."
yeah.
And he showed me this guy named Tyler Childers, and I am not the biggest country fan,
Oh,
but
I think I know who he is too.
dude, Tyler Childers is like real modern country. Legit, like you're not going to hear him on the radio. And when he showed Tyler Childers was not big at all. And while we were out there, he started to blow up a little bit. And who's at the top of the YouTube list of songs when you type in his name for a cover song? It was us, and we're in uniform too, so we're pandering to those people that love that shit. So it has like 40,000 views on YouTube, like a pretty good video, yeah. And but like you were saying on YouTube with how you got into Earth 2 at the ground floor before anybody knew about it,
Yeah.
kind of the same thing with that. Like you just got to be there at the right time and get into it at the right time, and you can find success with that stuff.
Yeah. That's, geez. That was a, that story had a lot of twists and turns. Like,
I know. I kind of like
I'm thinking like, oh,
sequestered.
I'm thinking just like Afghanistan. All right, here it is, and you just get into a routine. But no, you just didn't even get a chance to get a routine. Disrupted right away, go into a
Yeah.
fob for 2 months, and then coming back, and then have to. So you have to not only get used to not being in America, getting used to thinking that you're deploying with X amount of people with these people from your base, and then you're not. With you have to get used to people that you didn't know. Different routine over there. Chow probably sucked. I'm guessing.
It actually wasn't that bad at the fob that we were at.
Really?
So we were the only four Air Force guys on a base of 400 Marines,
Yeah.
and the fact that it was so small, the food was so good
All
because
right.
they didn't cook for that many people.
Yeah.
So it just made it like that much better. But Bagram wasn't that bad, man. They had mashed potato bowl Mondays, and
Ooh.
oh my god, dude! Like speaking of KFC, man, oh, it like hit the spot, dude. So good.
We had I think three, yeah, for 3 nights, not in a row. It was just three separate occasions. We had surf and turf. We had crab and like something else.
Yeah,
Um, I forget what it was, but that was pretty good. But my friend, you remember Harnish, right?
yeah.
Yeah, she said when I forget what she was 15, I think, that they had poisoned the food over there, and the whole place got like just the Hershey squirts for
So
like
nice.
18 hours, and it was like it just like nothing got done for like a day and a half. It was like yeah, it was rough, man. I was like, oh,
Oh my
dude,
god.
I'm glad nothing
Yeah,
happened to you like that.
yeah. That's like, oh my god, that would be my worst fear.
No.
Especially surf and turf in the desert. It's like, can you really trust it? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where they had to fly that stuff in from.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't
actually,
even want to know. Just don't tell me. Don't even want to know.
as I was looking, searching for Tyler Childs, I found one of the things I most recently searched, and there's another cover that maybe is not my favorite, but is really good. I didn't know it. I'm assuming you've seen the movie Yesterday, where the dude
Oh
has
yeah,
the
yeah. Like the parallel
yeah, like his,
universe thing of like if
yeah,
he. Yeah, I gotcha.
yeah, his cover of Yesterday that was really good. I
Yes,
listened to that. Like I just listened to that recently. I was like, oh yeah, that was a good one.
dude. That's like
Uh,
arguably, I would say, like one of the most beautiful songs ever written.
yeah, apparently Paul McCartney didn't even like it when he first like yeah, it's like whatever. He
He
wrote it.
he said he wrote it in a dream. It was all written out in a dream.
Oh damn.
Yeah, like to give you like more alien conspiracy stuff about him, man. He said in a couple of interviews he's brought this up that he wrote that literally in a dream, woke up and wrote it down, and he was like, I penned the paper because he didn't want to lose it. Because that
Yeah.
happens from time to time with like guys like him. And yeah, like why can't I just think of like the greatest song in the world in my sleep? Jesus.
Yeah, I think there's there's definitely people like him that gets it with music, like Einstein that gets it with like equations, like Ben Franklin thinks about electricity when there is no
Mm-hmm.
electricity. Elon Musk talking about electric cars and electric jets.
Yeah.
But I forget who it was. Maybe it was Jim Morrison. There was a couple people that saying like, yeah, we wrote this song like on like LSD or acid, and then we wrote a bunch of others too, but we just forgot to write them down. And
Yeah.
like, how many like beautiful songs were written
Happens
that are
all the
just
time.
um that irks me so bad. That irks me
But
so much.
because like
Ugh,
when you're sitting down and I'm playing like a song, I did it today. Like you'll find like inspiration in something and it'll be something super simple. You'll be like, I'll remember it, and then it's gone. It's a mistake. Yeah.
ugh.
Do it
Do
all the
you
time.
you should get like a little tape recorder near you and just like whip
Oh,
it
you
out like
do. It's called voice memos on your
oh
iPhone.
derp.
Yeah, there you go. That's literally like the biggest songwriting tool in the world right now is voice
Oh.
memos.
So do you use that? Like obviously not today when you had something that you
Oh
lost.
hell yeah. Let's take a
Okay.
look. I'm not gonna
Oh,
play anything because it's probably terrible.
no, it's probably good.
But I got look at all that. That's all voice memos are just playing. So
Oh
not that
man.
not that many, but
So how many of those are just like, you know what, this one's gonna be good. Like this one.
uh not many because I'm still regular dude. But no, like some of the stuff you can usually tell if it's worth presenting to people that you know like for me, I am not I'm not the best songwriter on my own. I have a hard time I have a hard time hearing melody because I'm a bass player, so I'm more of like rhythm oriented. I like groove. I have a really hard time seeing like a chord structure or progression and listening to that and thinking what's like a good melody that's going to go over that you're going to hum. I can't do that. So when trying to put lyrics down, it's a real challenge for me.
Mhm.
I can make grooves and I can make cool bass lines. Like that's like do it on the back of my head. I have tons of those. But
Yeah.
like the lead singer for my band, Kevin, he he can do that immediately. And it's the most frustrating thing in the world because I'm like, dude, why can't I do that? To give you an idea of how incredibly talented he is, he has no idea about anything with music theory. And when I say that, I mean, he doesn't. When I first met him, when he was teaching me the Poeta stuff, he was playing something on the guitar, and I said, "What chord is that?" And he goes, "I don't know." I'm like, "Dude, you're the one playing it, and you're the ones." He's singing and playing at the same time too, which is a whole different beast. But I didn't realize when he was playing, he didn't know the chord shapes. He was literally just putting his fingers in places that sound good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's just a whole different. Like, I took a psychology class, and that's one of the things we actually learned about is the different. There's a theory of different multiple intelligence theory of like there's different lanes of intelligence that you can have, which I think that's very fair. And one of them
Yeah.
is musical. He's an example of like a musical genius to me.
Yeah. Just
In
like
terms,
his brain
yeah,
just works differently.
yeah, because like there's a some there's I wouldn't even call it a disorder. I think it's a benefit. Um, where you see color when you hear music. Have you heard about
Yeah.
these people?
Yeah.
Like,
I've seen them, or whether it's like Reddit or like Joe
yeah,
Rogan podcast, whatever. Yeah.
a
Really,
lot of
really
I
cool.
feel like a lot of like musical geniuses have uh that syndrome, whatever it's called. I think like Jacob Collier, a guy like that, I believe he is one of those guys that can interpret music with color,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
You
It's
don't even
cool.
have to take acid, man. You just listen to a record and
Yeah.
boom, you're just
I
enthralled in color.
I remember an episode of Gilmore Girls. Actually,
What
it
a
was a continu
segue.
Yeah. It was a year in the life. Actually, it was their continuation. They did it like 9 years later, where the main character goes back to her old high school, and she's like, "I loved history and I loved journalism, but I was told I had to take a music class, and I didn't want to take one, but I just, it was like music theory and music writing, and it's
Yeah.
like I wrote those treble clefs, those those rest stops, and like it was boring at the time, and I thought it was stupid." And she said, "But now, when I hear music playing, when I see someone, just rocking out, I don't just hear music, I can see it." And I
Oh,
didn't know it at the time. I was like, oh, that's beautiful. Like that was really
yeah.
cool. So yeah, what a segue. Um,
That yeah.
but I
I'm
thought that,
That's definitely something I wish I could do. I wish I could interpret music that way.
uh,
I have to work so hard at it.
yeah, that's some people just picks up stuff up. Like
Yeah.
I see it all the time. It's just like new kids like at the gym where they're just like maybe around not even they're just maybe not scrawny. They're just you could tell like oh they haven't really worked out before, and then like 2 months later they're just like yoked. I was like, how
Yeah.
the like how does that happen?
It's not fair, dude.
Yeah, it's not fair. I have to work so hard for these menial gains,
I
and
know.
everyone's just like they just sneeze and like arms just get jacked.
Just yoked. Like,
I was
bro.
watching another. It wasn't a different show. It was still Gilmore Girls because it was made in like the early 2000s before people like had a lot of cell phones. And this guy he was a musician named Zach was in the band, and he uses the diner's phone that he's at to call his home and leave a message about this melody that he had in his head, and he had to get it down because there's no cell phone. It's like
Oh my god.
that. I guess the struggle of like being late 90s, early 2000s, you had to do what as a
Yeah.
musician, where you just that
Yeah.
must.
I could I can't imagine. You want to talk about how many songs are lost because they never documented it. Imagine back then you didn't have any way to do it if you were like on
Yeah.
a train somewhere. You just had to remember it somehow.
Oh my God. Yeah. No pen. No. I mean, maybe you had pen and paper, and you could
Yeah.
kind of maybe write the notes if you can, but that's yeah. Oh, bad times. Bad
I
times.
know, dude. It's hashtag sad boy. He goes
uh,
Beach Boys.
yeah. Oh, that's another one good one too. It's not 100% cover. It's Sweet Home Alabama, but I think Kid Rock does like a version of it where he says like singing Sweet Home Alabama all summer. Is that Kid
Oh
Rock?
yeah, I think he uses that vocal line in like a song that has the same riff.
Yeah.
God,
I
Kid
don't
Rock.
know this one. Do you know the black hole origin story?
I do not.
I wonder if he's talking. Oh, the black hole sun. I wonder if he's just talking about like physics. I thought that was a music thing, but black hole sun. It's like because when a sun implodes in on itself, collapses in on itself, creates so much gravity that it creates a black hole. So maybe that's what he's talking about. And
Huh.
then all the mass that gets drawn into that black hole, it's sucked in because it goes in, doesn't go out. There's a
If it
theory that it becomes the Big Bang of another universe.
if it's Justin, I would love to hear what if it's not that, if it has
Oh
something to
no,
do with.
no, it's the song.
Okay, good, because I am a huge Chris Cornell fan. Chris Cornell passed away when I was deployed. To add to how sad I was like, oh my god, really? And I was talking to my wife at the time. I was like, we got to go see him when I get back. And then like it felt like a week later he passed
Oh
away.
no. Oh, my friend Brandon is a DJ, and
Yeah.
he he, who was the Avicii when he
Yeah.
died in, I think it was like 2017. He like took it to heart, man. Like he was
Oh
just
yeah.
it was not good. It was he had a rough time.
Yeah.
Um, have you played with anyone like that? And then they just like pass away. It's like, oh man, this dude was awesome. Or gal, lady.
Fortunately, no.
Oh man.
And Daniel Lee's critiquing my camera. To be fair, it's because I don't have like my actual light on, so this might be a little bit better. No, it's not much better, but we can do this.
I did like it though because it had that old school feel, that vintage, like you
Yeah.
know. It,
No, fortunately enough, I've not had anybody take the dirt nap after I've played with them. So
yeah.
people have moved away and like gone separate ways and stuff like that. But no,
Yeah.
fortunately, everybody's still around that for the most part, that I've played music with.
Did you ever have like a bad breakup that made you write like a sad emo song for a day and just be like, I hate my life, I hate this girl, I want to like
No, but
take me from this world?
I've made them up in my head, situations that haven't happened for sure. So
Dude,
like, yeah, like just I guess a story, like write a story about it and just like manifest something in your head, which can get you kind of in trouble if you're married like me. Be like, who the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, I'm just it's like you're thinking of something, and it's a lot of songs happen that way for me. Like I have an easier time writing just to write rather than writing to make a song or something that fits together.
yeah,
I would rather write like longhand, like a story, what I'm feeling, like in daily journal entries and stuff like that. I do that.
yeah.
That's definitely my strong suit. Writing lyrics and stuff like that is more difficult for a person like me. But yeah, man, just like make it up sometimes.
I think that's the same strategy that Hink's teacher used. The lady that's saying like, "Hey,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah," just say what you feel and then just give it bars or whatever. It's like, oh,
Yeah, you can curtail it after the fact, I guess.
yeah. I was like, oh, that's interesting that she did that. I was like, oh, that's really cool. I would have never thought that how it worked.
It's
I would
different
mess
for
around on
everybody.
piano. Yeah, I'd mess around on piano and just like that would not be my strongest suit, I guess, would be just listening to other people play or watching it and writing it down and then learning how to play that. Like that's really the best that I could do. I have no actual creativity as far as music theory goes.
Yeah,
Um,
it's definitely different for everybody. Like my favorite band in the whole wide world is Tool, which I know that comes with it's like that's a loaded band to become the favorite of, because they get a lot of the fans get shit on a lot for being like douchebags, which totally fair. I've seen them in the wild do the stereotypical like, you just don't understand, bro.
uh,
But I know that their songwriting process, because um, I know for the new album that they write the music first, and after it's done in a studio or a in like a high quality demo setting, Maynard, the lead vocalist, takes the music and then he writes the lyrics to the music.
oh,
So that's kind of a very different way of doing it from what I've heard.
yeah,
And he he's but that's again, it's like that musical intelligence that you have, right?
yeah.
he's not a musician to the point if he doesn't play an instrument, but he's musically savvy enough to hear music and to figure out what's a good melody to go over top of the music. While the other three guys that fill out the band, they know how to make the foundation for it.
Yeah. I guess it's kind of similar style of writing. I think that like Stan Lee had, where some of the artists would draw what was going on, and he would fill in like the chat bubbles, like the speaking bubbles, and like, oh, somebody draws it first and then that's really interesting. And I don't think that was every comic. That's just a couple of them. As like my friend Ty, who writes like, no, you got to figure out the ending first and then you start. I was like, I could never do that. When I started like my Be Me stories, I just started out with characters and I just started out with whatever, and where it goes, man. Like,
I remember I asked you like the first time I saw you do it, I'm like, does this stuff like actually happen to you? And you were like, no, dude. Like, I was like, wait, you just think of that? Like, that's amazing.
I have a bunch of it, like, and there's some that I can't even post on Facebook because they're like either they're too raunchy or they're too like, or even stuff that happens in like the military, just so that you probably get taken off Facebook, probably get put in a 30-day jail.
Yeah.
But when I have creative control, like when I put that on like a video series of its own platform or whatever, I could definitely do that. I'll have a little more liberty, a little more freedom.
See, like what would be awesome is if you get like an animator to do like a cartoon version of your story.
I'm trying so hard. I can't
as you're narrating it, because obviously you have to narrate the story.
Yeah, I mean, what I wanted to do was I could do the voices of maybe of probably a few of the guys, probably none of the girls, unless it's going to be like Tina from Bob's Burgers, where she talks like this, or it's like a guy voicing a girl.
Yeah.
I could do that, but I can't find an animator, one that has the time. One, I don't have like all my money is in crypto. It's in OMI. I can't take that out yet. I have to wait like a year or two, before it really gets big. And then I have no issue paying someone, but I don't know if I want it to be like the odd ones, like what type of animation I want it to be. And then I would need other voice actors, and then I don't know how it would be. Like, listen, I could pay you guys for this. If it blows up, I don't know what they would want in their contracts. 1% of the proceeds, or they just want to be paid, either or.
I'm envisioning for you is, have you ever, obviously, Joe Rogan's podcast, right?
Uh-huh.
Have you ever watched it before, like to know any of like the recurring guests?
Yeah, there's what
Joey
he actually
Diaz.
did Tool once. He did one or two of the people from Tool, but I know
Maynard's been on there a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Joe, you know who Joey Diaz is?
Yeah, I love him.
Okay, so Joey Diaz, funniest human being to live on the earth, right?
Yeah.
So like the stories that he tells, like on like his podcast and other podcasts.
Yeah.
So Joe, I guess, hired a guy to do an animated version of the story that Joey was telling on the podcast. So the story had already been out there, like on YouTube, and they're called JRE Tunes, is what they're called. And it's like them in cartoon form, setting up the story at like the table. And then Joey starts talking, and then it goes into like an animated version of the story that he's talking about, because it's unbelievable. It's hilarious.
Dude, that's so cool.
And that's what I think you should do. I think you should do something like that.
I should. The issue that I have, like, I'll just go to Facebook real quick, and then I'll just go and I'll type in "Be Me" and then see what comes up. Or I could probably I just did one recently. I didn't do them for a while because I was really busy. Where did it go? Cannot remember. No. Yeah. So it's like Be Me the other day. And then I have like a bunch of people in there. I have this girl, Emma. I have Brittany. It's mostly Emma. And then Tara comes in. And Jill. So I could read it, but I try to have to do different voices. And then people try to animate it. So I definitely love that cartoon idea, but I need some voice actors. And then which I have no issue. I would love to get like a couple kids like straight out of high school that like are really talented, and like I see some of their work, and I was like, listen, I'll pay, like, this is your first job, I'm paying you, I'll pay you good, I'll pay you guys really well, and or at least the best, first job, and whatever, and if it blows up, like if it goes really good, then you guys will come with me, as long as you're chill and not, because I mean, to try to get like professionals, and I would charge like professional money, it's like, okay, well, there goes a lot of a lot of my wealth the next few years. But yeah, that'd be fun. I've even asked. I think it was Harnish and Krins. Do you remember Krins?
Yeah, I was actually about to bring him up. I'm like, I know he did a couple viral videos of like Air Force stuff.
Yeah, that was. So I
Like
got
the
them to do.
C5 breaking, that's what it was, right?
It was well, the C5 was breaking. It was new people that tried to drive the C17 staircase truck for the first time and just kept going like this. Um, so yeah. But he's married, and has got a kid, and he's working at the post office now. He's just busy. I need people that like
Yeah.
this is what they do and what they could do all day. It's going to be a lot. I posted them in a buddy of mine's chat called voiceover animations where Krins is in and my friend Ty's got some stuff and it's just nothing but it's literally like 9 months worth of stuff and it covers like 8 years.
Oh my
So
God, that's so funny.
yeah, yeah. So I have many seasons worth ready to go.
Honestly, like one of the highlights of my life is like the couple times I've made it in and you'll tag me in it and I'm just like, oh, here we go.
I'll tag you in another one. Actually, can I lie and say you were in Atlantic City with me this weekend?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. I'll tag you in one tonight.
In fact,
Um,
I'm like super thrilled that I'm going to be in potentially like a cartoon version of this at one point.
yeah, I will have. Yeah, no, yeah, you'll be in there a couple of times. I remember like, well, I don't think it was even a B. Oh, there's been a couple of Be Me ones where
Yeah.
Bickham said he wanted to get like huge, like muscular.
Yeah.
So I just go and I say, all right, look, we're gonna start to eat. We're gonna start to eat, and then his wife at the time was in it and saying like, oh yeah, I like his shoulders already. Don't make him get too big. And
Yeah.
it's like, see, my wife likes my shoulders already. And then you straight up come in and you say like, it makes up for his small peen. I remember you said that, and I put that in one. I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, I remember that now you said it. Dude, he's I hit him up about yeah, the Jerry, they're the best, man. They really are.
Yeah,
And thank you, Justin. I believe that was his name, who said I have
yeah, yeah.
great taste. Yes, I
But then you said
appreciate it.
beside the Beatles, and like, how dare you? Like,
Yeah, I mean, like I get the Beatles critique. I just, I
yeah,
respect them enough that I've kind of forced myself to like them after a long time. But
yeah.
yeah, Bickham said he's coming to that House of Independence show on the 11th. He should be flying out for it.
Oh man,
So even
I
if
saw
like,
him recently.
oh, did you?
Yeah, I went out because I had this Pokemon deal in
Yeah.
Colorado,
Oh, it
and
was. Oh, yeah, that's right. It was in Colorado. I forgot
yeah,
about that.
so yeah, I saw it was good.
Oh,
He
that's
took me to
great.
Del Taco. Yeah, he took me to Del Taco, which I'd never been to before. That was amazing.
How far
That was
from
a
Denver is he?
half hour, maybe
Oh,
45 minutes.
that's awesome, dude. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, dude, it
Yeah.
was great. It was fantastic. It was wonderful. So that was fun. What were you saying before I went off on the Colorado thing? Bickham's flying out on the 11th, and he's getting
He
that.
should be flying out on the 11th for that show that we're playing at the House of Independence.
Uh,
But I mean, like, I think he's going to be here for like a day or two. So maybe like I know you're busy that weekend. Maybe the next day, if you're not busy, we could
yeah,
all
let me see if
get
I can.
together.
And you said Asbury Park?
Yeah, it's in Asbury Park.
That's in Jersey, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So I made this thing where I'm never gonna fly. I'm never gonna drive into Jersey again. I will. I'll try to take a chopper. I'll try to get a Cessna. I I just on principle I can't
It's
drive it.
fair.
Um, I don't want to be like that guy though that flies in on a chopper and people think I'm important. It's like no, I just refuse to drive anymore.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
Jersey's like that.
oh God, it was horrible. Yeah, I just did it for too many years, and yeah, like I said, I forgot that it took me 6 hours to get
Dude,
from Atlantic
my
City to work.
my wife just started she just left being like a clinical PA. Now she's teaching at her old school.
Hmm.
And her office is like, I would say 5 to 10 miles away from the house.
Yeah.
Um, she used to work in the hospital. It was like 30 to 40 miles away. And her commute 5 to 10 miles from the house is nearly the same as what it was to go up to Willingboro because of how bad the traffic is.
Oh,
Like today, it took her like 30 minutes to get home. It was like a six,
um,
7 mile drive.
at that point, I just bike. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
taking my bicycle, mi bicicleta, and we're going down that way.
I love living in Jersey, but man, that traffic does suck sometimes.
Yeah, it's rough. I'm going to Florida.
I know. I'm jealous.
Can't wait. Come. That's
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to leave my prison that I signed up for. So
Oh, yeah, are you in the reserve still?
I am. Yeah, I just
Oh,
started. Yeah. Well, also my mortgage, so can't
oh, that's true. Oh,
really
you
keep
bought
it.
the house.
I
Oh, all right.
did, yeah, a couple
Damn.
years ago.
See if you can rent
Wait,
it out. Yeah, get someone to rent it out. Be like, all right, go.
dude, I'm trying to convince her to do it. I'm trying.
Me and my friend, Arya Realty Investments. I've had him on the podcast a bunch of times before.
Yeah.
We have like a dream, not even a dream. It's just something that we're gonna try to do at one point. We're just gonna try to get either a couple of. We want to run a whole block, like a whole cul-de-sac. Like I'll get a house over here. He'll get the house right next to me, and then we'll just live in the same place, and we'll rent out this house, and then we'll because we I'll have a lot of money with Omi, and he'll have he's really good at finding undervalued stuff. We want to get a bunch of people that we had served with to just move in all on the block.
Oh,
Bickham said he's down.
dude,
At
I'd
one
be
point.
into.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So maybe if we can do that, get Bickham to come in. Uh, I think once Gutherman finishes school
Yeah.
and he goes, and we could, I might be. He likes his hunting though, which I'm sure you can do in Florida. I think it's just
Oh
it
yeah,
might be,
you totally can. Yeah.
but I think you're not going to be able to hunt like deer. You might be able to hunt like gator or
Yeah,
something.
well, I mean, like Texas, you can just like set like a bomb off to kill a bunch of like wild boar.
Yeah, because they apparently people like go out in like choppers and they just let loose.
Yeah, dude, like with like a minigun up there and just like
Yeah, because
mows
they
them
have
down
such a huge boar
like
problem.
Squid Game style.
Did you see that picture of that dude that got gored by a boar? Like his
Yeah.
thigh is all meaty. It's all like
Dude, they're mean, man.
yeah, it's
There
gross.
was a
It's
guy
like
on
oh
TikTok the other day. I guess he was like in Disney World or something. And there was like a wild boar, and it like was being all friendly, like a doggo. And he was like, "What's up, buddy?" And then he comes up, gets close to him, and I think he like bit him or like gorged him or something like that.
oh my god.
But he like completely baited the guy. He knew what he was doing.
Oh
I'm
dude,
like,
that's like
damn.
these like coyotes that like they attempt to like play with dogs, get the dog to
Yeah.
follow them, then a bunch of coyotes just like jump this. Oh man.
Oh my God. Yeah. I saw like a video of that. I can't watch that, man. It like breaks my heart.
Yeah, there was one.
But
It's actually a dude on Joe Rogan. He says he had like a giant, like there's like a difference between like a 60-pound pit bull and like a 100-pound pit bull. And so
yeah.
like yeah, this guy had one of those big beefy dogs, and one of those coyotes baited him like that, and then the dog comes back like covered in blood, but it's like and he follows where the blood trail leads, and there's just like a not like an army, it's a graveyard of like 12 coyotes, all just like because they
Damn.
tried.
Like just murked it.
Yeah, they tried that like, oh, you picked the wrong one today, and people was like, like it was like
Jeez.
Mufasa taking on a
That was
bunch
like,
of lions.
yeah, it was the what's his name? Oh, John Wick of dogs.
Yeah,
The
John
John
Wick
Wick
was a
of,
dog.
yeah, that would be
Oh,
hilarious.
yeah,
Good
I
old
love that
John
type of stuff. Or they're like, oh, mess around and find out.
Tony B.
I don't know who that is. Can you clear up the rumors that are surround? I don't know if they're.
You haven't heard about him?
I haven't heard about what are the rumors that are surrounding us,
I
Mister
mean, you
Keeper?
should know. I'm not gonna tell you. You should know what the rumors are.
Is it that you're adopted?
Maybe.
I'm not really your dad. We're a
Maybe.
little different colors, but
Wait, the rumors surrounding me or you?
uh, well, he said, "Hey guys," and then I said, "Guys, can you clear up the rumors that are surrounding?" So I guess it's with both of us.
It has to
Might be,
be our
might be,
relationship.
might be about our lineage. Not really
Yeah.
father and son.
Well,
It's a cover up.
Randy's my father.
Yes, I it is christened on the day where I was in a Darth Vader mask and his first day in the dorms. No, uh, we had some wild parties in the dorms. That was pretty fun.
Dude, it
It
was
was
a shit show.
it was crazy. It was off. Oh, were you in the room with Wrinkle and Joyce and
Yeah.
oh man, that was
Yeah. Good old Joyce, man. God. And that
I still see.
stupid ass. You remember Huber
Yeah, he was in there too.
and that stupid ass recliner that he had, and he would literally lay in the recliner naked, like, and just pass out and sleep.
I remember going to your guys' place on Christmas, and we watched Die Hard, and we
Yep.
watched what was that one where like Wolverines, Red Dawn.
Red Dawn. Yeah.
Yeah, those are good times. Those are. I miss you, man.
Yeah, I miss you too, dude. When were we supposed to get together and I couldn't come?
My birthday last year because
That's what it was.
it like snowed like the week prior, and everyone from Jersey's like, "Bro, just do
Yeah,
a little messed up." It's like, yeah, you're right.
and then
Um,
you made something that happened during the pandemic, and you were like, like pretty
yeah,
much everybody couldn't come, and I was like, fuck, man,
yeah.
like,
So it was only a lot of local people, which was fine. It was a nice intimate setting. It was like a dozen people or whatever,
yeah,
which was
I
pretty
could
good.
because Lida went right.
He did not go. I did see him recently though. We were in New
You
York,
did, yeah.
and we went to Harry Potter World. Not Harry Potter World. There was a
The
Harry Potter
store,
bar.
right?
Yeah, there was a Harry Potter bar and a store.
The store like
And
just opened or something like that, right?
yeah, I was pretty drunk, and um, I tried to get one of the workers to sell me one of the movie props, but they're like, it's not for sale. And I was like, ma'am, everything is for sale. And then she's like, yes, sir, let me find out.
She
And
clutched
then
her pearls. She was like, oh my god.
she called down. I was like, yeah, this is like crazy guy wants to buy like Rowena Ravenclaw's tiara for like $10,000. Like and like because I knew it was like one of like six in the world. Like if I can get her to sell me
Yeah,
for 10, I would flip it for 100 real quick.
yeah.
But the manager is like, no. And I was
Damn, that
like,
sucks. I'm surprised.
yeah, because I think the manager, because she was like just like a worker. I was like, oh, maybe if I
Hmm.
get her to do it. But then like the manager knew. They're like, no, these are like movie props,
Yeah.
not for sale. They're just loaned out. It's like, oh, bad times. But yeah, so Lida, so Bickham. So I'll see if we can do something. November's starting to get. Let me see what I can do in a bunch of these places, and if anything, our trying to think. If anything, we could go and do maybe in December. In December, would that work for you?
Yeah, obviously I just can't do the date that I'm playing that gig,
The
but
11th, yeah, I wouldn't. So I'll let you know. I do have to go to Hawaii at some point in December as well.
oh yeah, I pity you. Oh, how hard.
Do you want to come? So it's
Dude, I would when are you going?
I don't know yet. We haven't figured it out. But you remember Holt? She's Ogletree now. She married Ogletree, so now they're both Ogletree.
Yeah.
All right, so they're there. Stinson. She was Andrews, but now she's Stinson, or she was Stinson. Now she's something else.
I
Um,
remember the name, yeah.
yeah, she's there. And then remember Mike Castle, Barton Castle?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's there too. There's a
No,
bunch of people there. Yeah, so
is
I'm
he
gonna go for
still
like a
in?
week. Yeah,
Is he
he's
retired?
I think he's a senior now.
Yeah, that makes sense. He
Yeah,
should be a
so that
chief.
yeah. Uh, so I would imagine that there is. Oh, hang on, this Tony guy is getting blocked.
What did he do?
He was talking about I have a friend in Harry Potter world hooking up with girls, even young girls are unreal. It's like, oh no,
Oh,
get that ish out of here.
no.
Um, but yeah, so we're going, and the Fentons they might go as well because Fenton's dad is in Hawaii,
Yeah,
and
that's right.
so they
Yeah.
might go. I also saw Sergeant Bright recently. You remember he was like the
Yeah, I remember him.
yeah. So he was. I went to see him in Massachusetts. So that was really interesting. Like the bar that was where they penned the idea of like the revolution in Massachusetts. It was closed down because they were filming like a movie,
Ah,
and it's like it's like part of the reason I came. Um, but yeah, it was pretty cool. They had a really fun scene. You'd like that. So yeah, see
yeah.
if you can go. I want to. Light is getting out, so he might be able to go. So we'll try to get a bunch of people. I'll ask. I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
Yeah, because Kate and I were supposed to go to Hawaii like right we were planning a trip during the pandemic and then the pandemic happened and then obviously didn't happen. And then after I got out, we flew out to Seattle and we drove all the way down to Los Angeles. Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, good time.
Where I wish I was.
Oh, we've done about 2 hours. I guess I will let you go. I will go and I'll write a status about you, about us in
Yes,
Atlantic
dude.
City. Although the story will be relatively close to the truth, because it was I so I have long hair now. I
Yeah.
kissed my girlfriend where she had red lipstick on, so I didn't know and then I have black. So it'll be like a story about
Yes. I
me being a
can't
drag queen
wait.
or something. Like,
Yeah. Well, everybody, if you can, definitely try and buy tickets to the December 11th show at the House of
yes, yes.
Independence with the ones you forgot with Sales Ahead and my band Poeta. Um, Poeta is available on all streaming platforms. Poeta. If you like Vans Warp Tour and you like to be a sad boy or a sad girl in your emo, oh, we're the band for you. So, but yeah, man, thanks for giving me the time and like thanks for chatting. It was cool.
Yeah, it was fun. And the link to one of Poeta's songs is down below. I just highlighted it. It is in the chat.
My man.
And yeah, it was a good time. So we'll go and catch up one day. If you, well, I know the Limelight podcast is pretty much just for musicians, but if you ever want to have a non-musician night, let me know. I'll go
Oh
hop
yeah,
on
sure,
there.
dude. Yeah.
All right. So I'll catch you later. Zach, thank you so much.
See you
And I'll
guys.
catch you all later. Thank you all for listening. Goodbye. Meow,
Can't
meow,
wait for the story.
meow, meow, meow. Wow. And